My pick for gear of the year when it comes to gravel is the MudHugger rear mudguard from MudHugger. Here at BikeRadar we get to test some fairly fancy kit, but while this piece of moulded plastic might not be particularly exciting, it has made the biggest difference to my gravel riding over the past year than pretty much anything else. Let's be honest, nobody likes a wet bum when you're 3 hours into an 8-hour drizzly epic. A gritty paste working its way through a single layer of lycra isn't anyone's recipe for a good time. My Lauf gravel bike doesn't have room for full Jack Luke spec mudguards, so this zip tied on fender is the best I can get. With it sitting around the top of the wheel, it does a surprisingly good job of protecting me from spray. This means even if the ground is damp, I stay dry, as does any luggage I might be carrying around. It also prevents rear lights from getting caked in mud, so I stay a little bit more visible when I do venture onto tarmac. When it comes to race-focused bikes such as the True Grit, mudguards do have a bit of an image problem, in that they tend to look a bit crap. Well, I'm not going to stand here and say that the MudHugger has improved the aesthetics of my Lauf. All I will say is that I can't see it when I'm pedalling, so fortunately I don't really care too much. Fitting the fender is nice and simple once you've applied some protective tape around your seat stays. It just zip ties on. If you want it a little bit more removable, MudHugger will sell you some Velcro straps to make fitting and removing it a touch quicker too. Thus far it's not shifted about even when I've kicked it getting on or off the bike, making it much more preferable to the fenders that clamp around your seat post. They are universally rubbish. I've also not found it clogs with mud. The relatively tight clearance on the frame always clogs first anyway. At £23 it's fairly cheap, and over the course of its life will almost certainly prevent 23 quid's worth of wear to your bike, kit or nether regions.
My favourite gear this year is the Apidura Backcountry Bikepacking bags. They don't look particularly flashy or exciting, but I've used them almost every single time I've headed out on a bike ride this year. They have seamlessly integrated themselves into my cycling consciousness without much effort, which perhaps shows how well they work and how useful they are. I got this set of bags in May and they've seen themselves around central England, Wales, Devon and Cornwall, as well as countless times around the back roads of Bristol. There are a great many things I like about these bags. Firstly is just how well they work. Even after loads of miles and a lot of use, the fabric is as waterproof and durable as they were when they were new. They are easy to swap between bikes too, with straightforward fastenings and no fiddly zips. Even after a lot of rain and mud and being heavily loaded, they're built to last and they aren't showing any wear and tear. It's hard to quantify, but the bags just work exactly as you want them to, with no fuss, so you can put them on the bike and forget about them as you ride. A special shout out goes to the seat bag, which in particular is easy to use and fits the bike well, with little of that annoying sway from other seat bags. The one I have is 6 litres, but there's a smaller 4.5 litre version too. They look great in a sort of unassuming grey, which manages the impossible and looks both smart and also soaks up the dust of the trail. I also found they haven't rubbed at the paintwork like some bike bags do, which is a welcome relief. It's great to see Apidura offering resources and tutorials for repairing bags if they do break, as well as the option to buy cheap, repaired older bags through their Revive programme as a way to reduce environmental waste. In all, when I go for a bike ride, I want a bike bag that's waterproof, hardy and fits well, but also just want to be able to forget it's there and get on with cycling. And these backcountry bags tick all of those boxes easily, so I expect I'll be using them for years to come.
When it comes to gravel riding, I've got a couple of favourite products that I keep coming back to. First up is Fumpa's mini compressor. Whenever I head out on my gravel bike, my seat pack, bar bag or hip pack always contains the essentials. No matter where I'm riding, I've got some sealant, an inner tube, tough tyre levers, tubeless plugs, a multi-tool, and the single most vital thing, a Fumpa pump are coming with me. The pocket-sized air compressor isn't cheap at £139, but it got me out of plenty of jams when I've either split a tyre, burped a tyre off the rim, and where a hand pump just won't provide the constant pressure needed to reseat it. The Fumpa makes short work of this, and it's proven worth every penny. My second gravel choice for the year is the Pro's Discover Dropper Post. It has a smart two-way lever that can be operated easy from the hoods or the drops, and it's simply brilliant. The ability to drop the saddle all the way down when you're descending steep off-road sections, or being able to drop the saddle low and making yourself far more aero when descending on the road is just excellent. It's fun, and it's an added benefit if you love to descend at high speeds. When I fitted the Pro, there was very little choice out there, but over the last year or so, we've seen FSA launch a gravel-specific dropper post, Crank Brothers have followed closely behind, and RockShox released a wireless electronic dropper as part of the Explorer range. For some people, this may have been an odd choice, but now it might actually be a trend. Personally, it's something I'd really like to have installed and miss it when I'm testing gravel bikes way off the beaten path that don't come equipped with a dropper.
I live in a permanent state of discomfort when it comes to temperature regulation on the bike. I never quite reach that April 25th state of just right and typically suffer through either hours of sweaty riding or finish my ride frozen to the bone. This is only exaggerated in the winter months here in the UK, where it's pretty normal to be riding on a beautiful crispy 1 or 2 degrees Celsius day one day, only to be tortured with a mild 12 degrees wet and windy day the next. I've experimented with lots of different solutions over the years, but have finally settled on 2 guiding principles when it comes to choosing my kit for a winter ride. Be bold and start cold, and less is best. On the first point, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you should dress for how you're going to feel when you're actually riding. If you feel a little bit chilly before starting your ride, that's probably about right, but just make sure you pack a spare layer for that little cheeky capuchuchu midway through a ride. On the second point, this is inspired by an often cited article on UK climbing by noted winter mountaineer Andy Kirkpatrick from 2014. He points to the likes of the Buffalo PP and Montane Extreme clothing, which typically uses a single fibre pile layer paired with a wind and waterproof outer to provide all weather comfort. The Sportful Tempo jacket is my answer to this for cycling. It pairs a windproof outer with a brushed fleece lining and Gore-Tex Infinium membrane on the sleeves and front to provide warmth for all but the coldest days, while also allowing me to dump a ton of heat if I get sweaty. It's also largely waterproof and comfortable when damp. The cut is also superb, and after a year of hard riding, the sleeves and elastic are still perfectly snappy. The tall fleece-lined collar is also a highlight, as this helps to keep drafts out. Paired with a sleeveless summer base layer, this sweaty Scotsman is comfortable down to around 3 degrees Celsius in the jacket. With an additional waterproof or insulating layer on top, I can ride in just about any condition I'd actually want to be riding in. I do wish my version of the jacket had a slightly chunkier dual-ended zip, but the newest generation looks to have made a move towards this. The new jacket is also available in bright yellow, so what's not to love? If you're looking for a do-it-all winter layer, this one comes highly recommended.
My gravel gear of the year pick is Shimano's RX-8 gravel specific shoes. I know what you're thinking, how on earth can a shoe be gravel specific? Ostensibly you could get a road shoe and be fine for most gravel riding, and equally what a road shoe can't cope with, an XC mountain bike shoe could do brilliantly. These 2 shoe categories even overlap. Shimano's road S-Fires and off-road S-Fires use basically the same upper and basically the same carbon sole plate. So when the RX-8s were released in 2019, it was initially a struggle for me to see where they would fit in between. Shimano says it looked to combine elements of its road and mountain bike shoes to get a versatile best of both worlds. The brand tried to incorporate the lightweight and stiffness of road with the robustness and walkability of off-road. But I was still sceptical about their validity in practice. However, once I started using the RX-8s, I went from viewing them as maybe not really necessary to viewing them as indispensable. Most importantly, they fit my feet brilliantly and stay comfy no matter how long I'm riding for. I know it's subjective, but I think the secure heel hold and the wide toe box should suit plenty of other riders too. If I had to nitpick, I'd suggest that the tread at the forefoot, while it supports a solid connection with the pedal body, is a little narrow. It means that the shoes don't feel quite as stable when walking over rough ground as ones with a wider tread pattern, but this doesn't really mean much in reality. Can't say I've ever really felt like Bambi on ice. Overall, Shimano has really nailed an appropriate balance of features. At 582 grams for a pair of size 43s, they are top-end road shoe light, but the robust upper and sole tread pattern makes them way more suited to the rough and tumble of off-road riding. You'll get something lighter and stiffer in a dedicated road shoe and something tougher in a proper mountain bike shoe, but for something to suit a variety of riding and in terms of sheer adaptability, I don't think the RX-8s can be beat.
There's plenty of great gravel-specific gear out there, but this year my favourite isn't technically constrained to gravel riding. It's Tailfin's cargo cage. It's a fantastic way to dramatically increase your on-bike storage, as you can strap pretty much anything to them. The cargo cages attach to a bike using bottle cage style bosses. Now these bosses are becoming more and more prevalent on adventure style bikes, and I have it currently set up on the ultra versatile Genesis Croix de Fer, which I rode in this year's Dirty Reaver gravel race. Check out our Gravel Diaries episode to find out how we got on. The link is in the description. I've been using the large version, which, if it matters to you, only weighs 79 grams. There's a smaller version available, but you're not really beholden to the size and weight of what you attach to the cage, so in my opinion, the large is the way to go. Due to its low weight, I have no reason to take the cage off when it's not in use. It also gives the impression I'm prepared for a zombie apocalypse or something like that. What really helped me decide to choose this for my gear of the year was its quality construction. There are absolutely no welds or plastic parts, and it's made from machined 7075 T6 aluminium, so it should be ultra reliable while still looking good on any bike. I've got Apidura's Expedition fork pack, which is strapped to the cage, and this combination feels totally bomb-proof, so big shout out to Apidura. For multi-day rides when I'm not focused on out-and-out speed, I found I really need to carry a lot of gear with me to feel comfortable enough to enjoy the experience. This is amplified if I'm riding through the colder months of the year when a winter sleeping bag and sleeping mat is needed. And the cargo cage easily allows me to carry those extra bits. Equally, if you're riding somewhere hot and dry, it's a great place to store extra water on a long ride too. I also like the idea of keeping the cages free. Say you're racing at an ultra endurance event and resupply points are rare. Providing you have the straps and bags with you, you could quickly chuck the extra supplies on, ready for when you need them later. If weight is evenly distributed, I found having luggage down low on the fork isn't too disruptive to the bike's handling. It can help plant the front tyre into the ground, and could even help with traction. Having said that, if you're not used to riding a loaded bike, it will feel like a barge in tight corners. So here's to 2022 and all the gravel adventures that I'm hopefully going to have.